Are we hiding from the intergalactic police, or is there a specific reason you're treating that menu like a bulletproof vest?
Shh, Owl, don't look. They're all watching. I can feel their eyes burning into my soul. My life as a respected member of society is over.
Who? The barista? The guy over there picking his nose? Hoody, nobody is looking at you.
Look, the crater. Everyone is thinking, look at that failure who can't even drink without making a mess. I'm the laughingstock of the city.
You're not a laughingstock, Hoody. Your brain is currently lying to you, and it's a lie that costs you your freedom. You're just a victim of the spotlight effect. To understand why you feel like everyone is watching you, we first have to understand the hardware of the human brain. We are all born into a reality where we are the protagonist. You are the only person in the world who hears your own thoughts 24/7. You are the only one who feels every itch, every spike in heart rate, and every drop of sweat. In psychology, this is known as the egocentric bias. We are literally anchored in our own perspective. Because our own experience is so vivid and constant, we find it cognitively difficult to imagine that others are having a completely different experience. When Hoody spills coffee on himself, that stain becomes the most important thing in his universe. Because it dominates his visual field and thoughts, his brain takes a shortcut and assumes it must dominate everyone else's too. This is the birth of the invisible searchlight, the feeling that a massive, blinding light is highlighting your every flaw for the world to see. This subjective feeling has even been studied and has a name: the Barry Manilow Experiment. Let's get scientific. In the late 90s, Thomas Gilovich and his team at Cornell University decided to test this paranoia. They took a group of students and forced them to perform a socially painful task, wearing a t-shirt featuring Barry Manilow, a singer who, at the time, was considered the absolute peak of uncool by the student body. The target students were convinced that everyone would notice the shameful shirt. When asked to estimate how many people in the room could identify who was on their shirt, the students predicted that at least 50% of the observers would know. But here is where the data gets interesting. When the researchers interviewed the observers in private, the actual number was only 23%. That is a massive gap. Your brain's anxiety algorithm is literally doubling the perceived threat. Even when you are wearing a neon sign of what you consider to be failure, 3 out of 4 people don't even see it. They aren't being polite, they are simply oblivious. The Bad Hair Day Study. Gilovich didn't stop there. He tested bad hair days and the smartness of comments in group discussions. In every single case, the results were identical. People who felt they had a particularly bad hair day estimated a high level of noticeability. The reality? Nobody cared. In group discussions, people who felt they said something stupid or brilliant overestimated the impact of their words by a factor of 2. We are so focused on our own performance that we forget that everyone else is a maximizer of their own flaws. They are so busy fixing their own hair in their minds that they don't have the mental bandwidth to judge yours. But why do we still feel so caught? The illusion of transparency. It's not just about how you look, it's about how you feel. Have you ever been in a meeting or on a date and felt like your heart was beating so loud that the person across from you must hear it? Or that your nervousness is leaking out of your pores? Psychologists call this the illusion of transparency. We believe our internal states are transparent to others. In a 1998 study, researchers asked participants to give a speech and then rate how nervous they thought they appeared versus how they actually felt. The speakers were convinced they looked like a trembling mess, but the audience? They rated the speakers as calm and composed. Why? Because your inner world is a private data. People can't see your racing heart. They can't hear your self-doubt. You are the only one with access to the internal dashboard of your panic. To everyone else, you're just a guy in a yellow hoodie. This brings us to the most liberating truth of all: the cognitive load and the other searchlight. The reason people don't notice your flaws isn't because they are nice, it's because they are exhausted. Modern life is a flood of information. Every person you pass on the street is processing their own career anxiety, their own relationship drama, and their own spotlight effect. This is called cognitive load. Our brains have limited energy. We cannot possibly pay attention to the thousands of details in our environment. When you walk into a room, you aren't walking into a courtroom. You are walking into a room full of people who are also feeling like they are on stage. They are the lead actors in their own movies. And in their movie, you are just a blurry extra in the background. You aren't being judged. You're being ignored. And in a world of social pressure, being ignored is a superpower. The modern curse: social media and digital paranoia. In 2026, the spotlight effect has been weaponized by technology. Social media has created a permanent spotlight. We post a photo and then spend hours checking who viewed it, who liked it, and who might have noticed that the lighting wasn't perfect. But the spotlight effect applies here too. People scroll past your flawed photo in 0.5 seconds. They don't analyze the shadow on your chin. They are looking at the photo for two reasons only: to see if they look good in it or to compare it to their own lives. We are performing for an audience that is perpetually distracted. The digital spotlight is a myth. You are overthinking a post that most people won't even remember by the time they hit the next swipe. So why are we like this? Evolutionary roots: the survival bug. Why did evolution build a brain that makes us suffer? Because 50,000 years ago, being noticed was a matter of life or death. If the tribe noticed you were weak, weird, or unreliable, they might exile you. In the wild, exile meant death. The spotlight effect was an early warning system. It forced you to be hyper-aware of your social standing so you wouldn't get kicked out of the group. It kept you safe. But today, we don't live in small tribes of 30 people. We live in a global village of billions. That old survival instinct is now misfiring. Your brain is sounding a life or death alarm because of a coffee stain. It's a software bug from an ancient operating system. And I'll tell you now how to fix the bug. How to break the spotlight. Actionable hacks. First, use the stranger test. Think back to the last 5 strangers you saw today. Can you describe their shoes, their hair? Did any of them have a stain? No? Exactly. Neither can they remember yours. Second, practice external focus. Instead of looking inward at your panic, look outward. Count the number of blue shirts in the room. Notice the architecture. By shifting your attention away from yourself, you literally turn off the searchlight. Finally, embrace the freedom of the background. When you realize that nobody is watching, you gain the permission to be yourself. You can try, you can fail, and you can be weird. Because the audience you're so afraid of, they've already forgotten you were there.
You're right, Owl. I'm invisible. I'm just a background character. I can do anything.
I wouldn't go that far, Hoodie. If you start a fire, people will notice.
Watch me.
While Hoodie continues to embarrass himself, which, again, nobody will remember by tomorrow, why don't you tell us in the comments, what was your most embarrassing moment that you now realize nobody actually cared about?
And subscribe. Don't let your spotlight keep you from clicking that button. It's scientifically proven to lower your social anxiety.
Not really, but it helps the channel. See you in the next deep dive. Stay invisible, stay free.